And we are recording. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So let me know if you can see my screen. And we will get started. Thumbs up if you can see it. Good. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started with virtual meetings. And this is a presentation, and we're just going to explore the different platforms that will help your club stay connected. There's lots of platforms out there. A lot of them have free plans, and then of course you can pay for a plan and you'll get more premium features. But one of the main things we're going to look at is Zoom and take a little deep dive into Zoom, and then look at other platforms that are out there. So just some quick statistics on virtual platforms. Right now, of course, Zoom is the winner. They have over 300 million meeting participants per day in 2020, which is pretty awesome. Google Meet is also right behind Zoom. Google Meet used to be a private platform if you had like the G Suite, but now they've opened it up to everyone. And so they've grown quickly in just the month. So they have over 100 million daily users now. Microsoft Teams is pretty popular. A lot of people that work with Microsoft Office Suite, Microsoft Teams comes with it. And so they have around 75 million active daily users. And then WebEx is, it's been around for quite a while. But of course, Zoom, Google Meet, and Microsoft Teams, they have a little bit more features than WebEx. And so WebEx is trying to add some more features so they can stay ahead of the game, but they have around 300 million users. And so they say the video conference market is expected to grow to $50 billion by 2026. So a lot of people now, they're telecommuting. I think it's really opened up, the floodgates for all of these new virtual platforms, and just thinking of a new way to work and a new way to learn. So I think that's a good thing. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Zoom. So Zoom is one of the most popular platforms that's out there. I would say it is very user-friendly. There's some little tips and tricks that you have to learn with Zoom, but pretty much anybody can join and get started right away. And it has a little app that you can download. There's also a desktop version, but they say if you want to have a more seamless experience, it's good to just go ahead and download the app to your iPad, your phone, or to your desktop. So one of the things, or some of the features that Zoom has, is they have the meeting. So you can meet by using video, audio, if you just want to call in. They have the instant messenger chat feature. One of the things that's really popular that people like is they have conference rooms. And then of course you have screen sharing. One of the things that makes Zoom really popular too, that some of the other plans don't have, is they have the whiteboard feature. So you can do interactive whiteboarding where participants can view and they can write on the blank whiteboard with you, and you can share it, which is pretty cool. And again, like I said, they do have free plans where you can have up to 100 participants, but there is a time limit. Right now it says that they give you up to 40 minutes. But if you want to, purchase a plan, plans start at $14.99 a month, which is pretty, I would say that's about average when you compare it to the other plans. So these are some of the Zoom tricks that I want to go over. And this will hopefully help you manage your video calls better. So one of the things that you're always going to look for when you're trying to find some of these tricks is your settings. So when you go to your main dashboard, of course, you have where you can host a new meeting, you can join, you can schedule, you can share your screen, but there's this little circle that you'll always see in the corner, and that's your settings. And so that's where the gold is, all the behind the scenes. So just make sure to look for that, your settings. And so one of the things that we're going to talk about is your touch-up appearance. A lot of people don't know that Zoom has this feature that can just make you look glamorous just with the button. And so a lot of people, complain about sometimes the lighting is harsh or they don't like the way they look on there. So if you go into settings and you go into video, you'll see at the bottom where it says my video, you can enable HD, you can mirror my video, or you can touch up my appearance. When you click on touch up my appearance, it's just going to add a soft filter over on your camera, which is pretty cool. So I activated that immediately because sometimes I don't have foundation on or makeup. So I was like, I'm just going to touch up my appearance. So that's just one of those little secrets that some of the people know about Zoom. The other thing that's pretty popular is the virtual backgrounds. Give me a thumbs up if you've actually activated the virtual background. Okay, so it's really good for me, I have 3 boys. So sometimes, you know, I have no idea what's going on. Sometimes I have no idea what the room's going to look like when I get ready to go and for a presentation. So having a virtual background is helpful. And the cool thing is, again, you go into settings and you'll scroll down where it says virtual background and you can add an image. So Zoom already has images on there that you can, you know, just select and it'll change your background and just blur out everything else. Or you can actually upload your own image. So if you have a picture that you like of a previous vacation or, you know, something quirky, or even like the GFCW logo, you can have that as your background. I will say one of the things that I learned from my son, who's a Generation Z, is that you can actually record a video of you looking at a screen like you're paying attention, and then upload that where it says add video. And what Generation Z is doing is they're using that as they're putting it on a loop. So it looks like they're actually paying attention at a lecture, but they're off doing something else in the background. So yeah, so I was like, oh, Generation Z, they have all of the tricks. But yeah, so you can also upload videos. So don't tell anyone I told you that, but that is a little trick that they've figured out, they've hacked.
I was on a call yesterday where they had a recording of the Georgia Aquarium going on behind them, and fish kept swimming by. It was really cute. Yeah, because
it's so many things you can do. And if you don't have a background, the cool thing is Canva actually has background templates now just for Zoom virtual. So, you know, if you want to find something that's nice or, you know, kind of artistic, you can go onto Canva and they've created virtual backgrounds for you too. So that's pretty cool. So another thing is if you go into settings again and you scroll down to audio, you can actually activate your noise cancellation. So again, if maybe you're joining a Zoom at a coffee shop or you're in a room and you know you have your partner, spouse, kids in another room and they're loud and you want to try to get rid of the background noise, this is something you can do. Once you click on the bottom where I have it highlighted in red where it says auto, you have 3 options. You can choose low, which your noise reduction will be minimal. You can choose medium, and that'll help get rid of any of the background noise like your fans, someone's tapping a pen, or you can select high. And that's if you have, you know, a lot of keyboard typing or, you know, really a lot of people in the room and you're trying to, you know, minimize the noise. And also they say one of the tips that you can do, sometimes when you're trying to get yourself off of mute and speak, sometimes it's hard to get your mouse to find the little, you know, mute button. Sometimes on some computers, you can actually hold down your space bar and it'll actually mute and unmute for you quickly. So try it and see if it works for you. It works on my computer and it worked on my son. So that's another little tip too.
Is it muted?
Yep. Yeah. It's working for you, Simi. Yep.
Yeah, so, I think Simi's was working. Yeah.
Yep. So that helps because sometimes I have a hard time.
When you unmute it, it goes back to mute when you take your finger off.
Yep. So here's another one. So one of the ways, well, I would say one of the things that happened in, I guess it was April March, April is when Zoom bombing became a thing. And basically, they're just hackers that get into your meeting and they'll take over your meeting. They'll put, images up that you don't want up in your meeting. And it was a real big problem. And Zoom, lost money and their stock prices went down. So they've added a lot of security measures since then. But one of the things that you can do yourself to prevent Zoom hackers from disturbing your meeting is once you schedule a meeting, everyone has their own personal meeting ID. You can share that, but they suggest that you don't, that you try to keep your personal meeting ID, personal, because once that number's out there, anyone can get that number and try to join a meeting. So the easiest thing to do is just to generate an automatic meeting ID, just a random one. So, when you have meetings, it's new and, you're not going to worry about anybody stealing your meeting ID. And it's such a big issue that they've actually made it a felony in some states. So the FBI has actually gotten involved. And this is just one of the releases when all of that started happening. So according to whatever state you're in, it could be a state or a federal crime because it's considered hacking and it's cybersecurity crimes. So they're taking it pretty seriously. One of the other things that is a little tip is you can lock your sharing options. I've noticed like on my son's Zoom, one of the issues that they have is sometimes one of the students will share their screen out of nowhere, or they're writing on the screen or something like that, and that can kind of become disruptive. So another way you just want to make sure that you're controlling your meeting is to make sure that you lock sharing. And that's just basically in your sharing options when you're the host. You can say that only the host can share, or you can have it on all participants. So before you host a meeting, I would just double check your advanced sharing options to make sure that only you can share. And so you won't have that issue. So one of the cool things too with Zoom is you can share your screen for games. So a lot of people have found different ways to stay connected by hosting a virtual game night. And these are just some of the games that you can, host: bingo, categories, trivia, Pictionary, the game name, place, animal, and thing. And the cool thing is if you need templates or you need like a game generator, all of that's free online. You can literally just type in bingo game generator and you can put that on your screen. And then once you share the screen, you can go ahead and start playing bingo and different games like that. So that's become another popular way for people to stay connected together. And then of course the recording feature. Again, you go in your settings and then just scroll down to recording, and you can record any of your meetings. You do have a settings, and so there's two options. You can save your recordings to your actual desktop if you'd like to do that, or you can save your recording to the Zoom cloud. So I'm kind of a control freak, so I like to save the recordings to my desktop. That way I can put it in my Dropbox, and if I want to edit the video and cut some things out and add titles, I can do that. So I choose to keep all of my recordings on my hard drive and then move them over to Dropbox. But you could also save it in the Zoom cloud. So you do have that option.
Ursula.
Yes.
So what is the step-by-step to record? You just went to settings and then you just hit record?
Yeah,
right.
You go to settings. Well, the recording, what you want to do first is go to settings, go to recording, just to see where your recordings are going to be stored at.
Okay.
So you want to make sure you know where this recording is going. If you want it to go to your desktop, or if you want it to go to the Zoom cloud. So that would be your first step. And then the second step is, this is basically the screen. So when you're the host, you would look at your footer, the bottom of your screen, and then it's just a simple record button. You would click on that, and then you could, again, select record on this computer, record to the cloud, and then you'll hear a little beep, and then it'll be recording. And then I pasted the little pause and stop recording. That's what you're going to see at the top. And so you can stop it or you can pause it at any time as the host.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ursula,
Yes.
can other, I know you're recording now, but can people record? Will it allow that or not?
If you go back, there is a location, I don't think I took a screenshot of this, but in the settings, you can select if you want other participants to have access to record or if you're only going to record it. And you probably want to go into settings and you want to look at that. I think it automatically goes to only the host because of privacy issues. But if you do want other people to record, that is fine. I would just say you probably want to mention that before you have the meeting, that other people have the opportunity, to record the meeting. But if it's an executive session, or if you just feel like this isn't, something I want out there for somebody to have, then you just change it to only the host have those options to record.
I mentioned that because yesterday we had a meeting and we had a speaker and I wanted to record it. And first I asked permission, but then I also said, well, let me see if I can try it. And it would not allow me, which is a thing because like you said, that is a security privacy issue. So I just wanted to double check on that.
Yeah.
Well, I have a situation. My husband does speeches for pay, and sometimes he also does them free. And so when the person who was in the free presentation asked about recording it, we said no, because we didn't want that to go somewhere else, for particularly like on social media when he might do a presentation for money, and then they say, wait a minute, why are anyway, but it was a question. I'm glad you covered that, because it really can make a difference in someone who is doing this professionally.
Well, and I will say these are the settings to Zoom, but don't forget there's still third-party software out there that can override all of that. So say for instance, I have Zoom app downloaded on my laptop as well as my iPhone. And so if I'm watching something on my iPhone, I can just go to my iPhone and hit screen record, right? And I can record whatever I'm watching. So, there's ways, what I've learned from Gen Z, there are ways to work around.
Well, the question came up, I know that there are ways that people can do it and, nobody would know. But the question was elevated and he graciously said, I wish I could, but I can't. And here's the reason. And it was fine. But I'm glad you covered that, because it could, for someone who is in a professional business situation, it could have pretty negative ramifications.
Yeah. And I will say that again, whoever is hosting the lecture, if it is, if it's copyrighted material or information, probably it's good to go ahead and mention that at the beginning and say, we will be more than happy to offer the recording, a paid recording, or, whatever, or go to this person's website to obtain the information, but we are asking you at this time not to record. And you've already put the disclaimer out there. So if you need to, have any further discussions, you can do that. But just put the disclaimer out there right at the beginning of the presentation. Hopefully that'll limit,
Technology can be good and it can be bad.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's always changing. So.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Ursula, this is Judy.
Yes.
One more comment, that if you record a long meeting that has a lot of participants talking or different things, and you're trying to go to the cloud, at some point you're not going to have enough space and you're going to have to pay for monthly space. So that's a watch it as well.
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why I just download it to my desktop, because with my Dropbox, it's pretty much unlimited space for me. So that's, again, just me wanting to have control over my, recordings and things like that. So yeah, definitely keep that in mind. Thank you, Judy. And so these are also some additional tricks. you can upload, you can personalize your profile picture. Again, you can go to settings, click on your picture and upload a professional headshot of yourself if you like, or you don't have to do that. I've uploaded a professional headshot because there are sometimes, you know, when I'll join a quick meeting and I'm not able to turn on my camera. So at least, you know, they know I'm there. You can do that if you like. Another thing that they offer is in settings. Once again, they have a statistics little selection. And so if you would like to share the statistics on who's coming to your meeting, where are they coming from, the geographical location, you can do that. So these are great reports that you can prepare if you need to, just to show the engagement. You know, if you have a meeting and you want to show how many, you know, how engaging it is, if this is a great webinar, do we need to do more like this? So they have all of that built into the system for you. And then another thing that we have is the chat feature. If you are the meeting host, you can change the in-meeting chat sessions. So I know for some webinars, they disable the chat if they think it's kind of distracting and they want you to pay attention, or you can leave it open. So again, it's totally up to you. And I left the link for the Zoom additional tricks. They have a very great help center. And so they have like videos for any and everything you can think of, whether it's recording or how do I, you know, do this for chat. They have a video for each question that you have. So there's the link there. So definitely check that out and that will help you. Any questions before I go on?
Yes, Ursula,
Yes.
Create graphs for quick statistics, meetings, and Zoom rooms. Are the Zoom rooms free or is that a paid option?
It seems like I was able to use it and I don't have a paid prescription for Zoom rooms. Now I think there might be a limit on how many Zoom rooms. That seems to be the recurring theme. They'll give you just a little sprinkle, but if you want to expand, then you have to move up. But I was able to use the Zoom rooms, you know, for breakout sessions and things like that.
Will you cover Zoom rooms or not? Because I think that might be a great idea for our clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Have a meeting and then they break out into a separate room. Let's say executive people might break out into, you know, another room. How does that work?
I can add that on the list. I didn't add that. I didn't go in deep detail to Zoom rooms, but I can definitely add that and do that, you know, if that's helpful to people.
That's
People
actually
really use
one
that.
of the things that I personally would love to learn about, because
Okay.
I think it might be really easy to engage with those people that are on my committee more effectively.
Okay.
Rather than try to coordinate schedules. We could just pick a time and then we can all link up virtually from wherever we are.
Okay. Now, Simi, was this the Zoom rooms? Were you thinking of having like a big meeting and then splitting out into separate meetings, or?
I was thinking about that.
Okay.
The possibility of sometimes some clubs might have an executive committee meeting or board
Okay.
meeting, and then immediately following that, they will have the general meeting. And
Okay.
so, you know, instead of sending out 2 links,
Mhm.
they could, you know, either keep everybody in a waiting room, they can have their executive meeting, and then they can go ahead and admit everyone. And then if a committee wants to go ahead and meet after the general meeting, they can say, if the Health and Wellness Committee would like to meet on next month's CSP challenge, I can put you in a room. And then
Okay.
have like discuss amongst themselves or something like that, you know.
Okay.
People have to confirm, you know, something.
Simi, I'm sorry, finish. What you were saying, remember the feedback in the survey that people in the district wanted more hands-on workshops? This would tie in perfectly with that. I mean,
Okay.
we could have like you know, you could open up a meeting and have a workshop type meeting on Zoom and then, you know, introduce it, talk about the rules and this, that, and the other, and then break out into CSP groups. Hey, my goodness, reporting. Oh my goodness. You could do a reporting workshop within clubs. There's so many applications. Oh my gosh, my brain is about to explode. That's awesome.
Okay. All right, well, we have a new webinar. Thank you.
Ursula, yeah, Ursula, and just FYI, the breakout rooms are free unless you're going to record them.
Okay.
And if each breakout room is to be recorded separately, so you've got each one for file, they do want to charge you a little bit for that.
Okay.
But everybody gets some free breakout rooms, and I've yet to run into what the limit is. So I think that must be a fairly robust little out. But if you try to record them individually, you're going to get a little note that says they're going to bill you for it.
Okay. So I have that on my list.
Okay.
And I'll do more research just to see what
Just
those
to
limits
see
are.
what the cost and how you do it.
Yeah.
That can definitely make an engaging meeting where we meet and then we go into
and then come back.
And then come back, and then we put people in other rooms. So it could be somewhat like a speed dating where you can go to the health and wellness room, and then after you finish with that, you can go to environment room within a meeting. So that's a brand new world, Ursula.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. And
Yes.
for leads, I know we've done it for leads a number of times where you break out and, you know, group A or this table, we'll talk about it. And then I mean, it's the same thing of what you're saying, Sammy, but that is a great application that would make Zoom very applicable to some of our meeting and workshops.
Okay. I will add that in. Thank you. Okay. And then, so we talked about the chat features. Okay, so let's go on. So I wanted to cover some additional platforms, just in case, you know, you're more familiar with Google, just to give you some other options that are out there. And so, you know, again, this is something you can use when you're having your own, you know, meetings on the side, or for, you know, any other organization you might be in. This would be helpful. So one of the things that I was talking to Simi about earlier is Google Meet, which is pretty cool. Google Meet used to be part of the Google G Suite, but they've now opened it up to anybody that has a Gmail account. And so it's basically video conferencing, and now it's free for everyone. And so these are just some of the things that they offer. Again, you can have the video, audio, instant messenger chat, the screen sharing, they do the whiteboard. One of the things that's different with Google Meet is they have real-time captions, which is pretty awesome. So say, for instance, you have a meeting and there might be someone, you know, that's joining that might be hard of hearing, or they just can't understand your accent or something like that. You can go ahead and enable captions. And as you're talking, the captions will just populate at the bottom of the screen, which is, you know, pretty cool. So they're one of the few platforms that actually have the real-time captions. The other thing that's great about it is you can schedule a conference through your Google Calendar. So a lot of people that have a Gmail account, you already have your Google Calendar. Now when you go in to make a meeting, you're going to see an option that has a little camera, and it's going to ask, well, do you want to make this, you know, a video meeting? And you just press that, and it's automatically going to send the email out to everyone. Even if the person you're inviting to the meeting does not have a Gmail account, they can still join on to the web conferencing. And then the plans right now, it's free for up to 100 participants. And right now, there's not a limit. There's not a time limit. So if you want to go 24 hours, you can do that. But after September 30th, they're going to have the time limit to 60 minutes, which is pretty good, because I think that's more than Zoom right now, which is 40 minutes. So you can go up to 60 minutes free. And again, if you want to host, you'll need a Gmail account to host. But if people want to join in, they don't have to have a Gmail account. They just need that link from you.
I will go ahead and add on to that. Anyone that is a state leader and has a GFWC Georgia email, you have the availability to do this. You have G Suite and all of its applications. So this is a way that our state members can interact with their clubs or their committees.
Wow.
Okay, and so here's another platform that some people might be familiar with. It's Microsoft Teams. So a lot of people that use Microsoft Office, you have the option to use Microsoft Teams. And it's another way to get everyone together. The cool thing about Microsoft Teams is they have the same, again, the same options, the video, audio, IM chat, screen sharing. But what I like about Microsoft Teams is they actually have file storing and sharing too. So this is very helpful if you have lots of documents that you're working on with the team. You can upload it to that team and you can work on the document in real time. So people can make changes to the document. And, you know, again, it's in real time. It's actually similar to a Google Doc. So, you know, you can do that with Google Doc. You can change things and update it and share it and save it in real time. But it's the same thing with Microsoft Teams and work on them together. Again, they offer free plans. And if you would like to pay for a plan, it starts just at $5 a month, and it includes a custom email address domain. So that's pretty good. The next one is WebEx. This one's been around for a long time. I think a lot of people have moved away from WebEx, but it's one of those platforms that's really great if you're looking at the enterprise level. It has a lot of, you know, good features, but I think they don't have the breakout rooms. I think that's what they're trying to add on to WebEx. So Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, Zoom, they have so many features, and I think WebEx is trying to catch up. But they also have the file storing and the sharing. They do have free plans up to 100 guests for 50 minutes, and those plans start at $13.50 a month. And this is another one that I discovered. It's Easy Talks. And when you log on, it actually looks a lot like Zoom. And so a lot of people have been moving over to Easy Talks. Again, it all depends on what you like, what you're comfortable with. But this is just another free video platform. You know, they have the video conferencing and everything like that. The difference with this one, though, is you can do webinars and events. And this comes in handy if you want live webinars, automated webinars, or if you want to add a payment gateway to your webinar. So say you have a conference, right? And you want to have this live great event, but you want to charge $10 because you had to secure a speaker and maybe you had to pay the speaker, or, you know, maybe it's a fundraiser. There's different things that, you know, reasons you would want to have an event and charge people to attend the event. So you could actually do this where they would have to pay to get access to this webinar or live event. And so when you're thinking about fundraising, you know, this is something to think about, because I know a lot of people are figuring out, like, what are we going to do? You know, we can't have our you know, fundraising event in person anymore, but you still want to raise money. So this is a platform that people are turning to. And so again, they have free plans up to 100 people, up to 45 minutes, and the paid plans start at the $10 a month. So, and when they say, and another thing, when they say automated webinars, some people want to know what that is. I would just, the way I explain it is, it's basically an evergreen webinar. So say, for instance, if you are hosting an open house because you want people to learn what your club is, it's kind of like an info session or, you know, recruiting event, but you know that you're going to share the same information all the time. So if you want to give the history of your club, this is why, you know, Dunwoody Club is important. These are the things we've done in the community. This is when the club was founded. These are the things you need to do if you'd like to join our organization. And then you give your call to action at the end. You can make that automated. So you can have it where people can click on to watch this webinar on what the Dunwoody Club is all about. And it just automatically plays in the background, and you don't have to fix it. Once you record it one time, you put it up there and people can watch the webinar whenever they want to. And so that will, that's another recruiting tool. So those are just things to think about. Again, use the virtual platform.
Ursula,
Yes.
the paid feature,
Yes.
can it be set up so that you pay when you enter as opposed to in advance? Is that what the feature does?
Yeah, you can pay when you enter or in advance. What a lot of people do is they prefer to have it in advance because you want to capture the registration information and all, those things. But if you want to have it where they have to pay the day of, that's fine too. It's however you want to capture the information.
I have a question. Does it link with Eventbrite?
I'm not sure about that. I will double check. I know they do have a lot of what do you call it? Plugins with other apps, but I'll double check and I can send you an email, Renee.
Okay, thank you.
And you said Eventbrite?
Yes.
Okay.
Ursula, I have a question. So
Yes.
in the example you gave about like a club presentation, I think that's a really interesting concept. So you could, at the beginning of a live presentation, you could have this standard, if you will, promotion about, say, a club. And then once it finished, then you could resume your live event.
Mm-hmm. Well, that basically, what you're describing is basically just playing a video. You can do that now. If you, if you're having a live meeting and you want to pause and play a pre-recorded video, you can do that now. The way the automated works is you would set it up, you would record ahead of time, upload the video, and then you would set, you could select dates that the video would be available. So say you would, you could say that we're going to have a webinar on September 25th at 7 o'clock. Please join. Well, it's already recorded, so they join at 7 o'clock and the webinar just starts playing. You don't have to be there for it. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay.
So you can have multiple dates. It's going to play on September 25th and again on October 2nd and again on October 25th. Multiple dates, multiple times, but someone does not have to be there to man it.
Right. So it's loaded, say, on our website or in a cloud or somewhere where they could access. So they're predetermined dates. The difference between recording this, you're going to post it to the Northwest District and someone will have to actually go get it and open it up and hit play.
Exactly.
Difference. Got it.
Yep. And the cool thing about the automated webinars, like, after this is recorded and we, add it on to the Northwest District website, there's no way for us to capture who's watching it because anyone can just click on it because it's going to be probably uploaded to YouTube, right? So there's no way of getting those names. The purpose of the automated webinar is because I say it's going to be on October 2nd at 7 o'clock, you still have to register for it. So now I've collected your name. So that helps me, that gives me your information so I can follow up with you at a later date and time and say, hey, I see that you registered for my, Dunwoody Club webinar. Are you still interested in joining? I would just like to talk to you. So it's really lead generation.
Okay.
And that can just work for you. I use that for recruiting for Georgia Tech. We do a lot of lead generation where you have to register to see a video that I recorded, I think it was like 3 years ago, on what we require when you fill out the application. So we still have people, sign in and I get their information and then I follow up with them and say, hey, I see you checked out my Georgia Tech, video on how to, join the program. Are there any questions you have? And that just works for me forever.
But what's so great about that is you're having something that's working for you while you're over here doing your thing. You don't have to be there. Yes. That is amazing. Boy, yes. There are a lot of smart people thinking about this stuff.
Well, and that's beneficial for any of our clubs that have signature events. And people want the information on not only the history, the purpose, the mission, but they want information on that, let's say the home tour. So you have that open or you have it on your website if people want to view it they fill in their name and email address, and then they watch it, and then you have the information to follow up. That's awesome.
I have a vision where Ashley and Ursula, I have a plan for you for our 125th anniversary or Northwest District. Would that be awesome or what? I mean, and the people could register for it, and that would be, and like you said, we could track who's registering, and it might generate some interest.
And so, I mean, if anyone's interested in going more, taking a deeper dive into evergreen webinars, let me know. That can be another workshop, because there's so many platforms that just work with evergreen webinars. And I mean, the things that they do are amazing. Like you see that usually in like your Facebook ads. You'll see something that says, you know, hey, sign up for this free class if you want to learn how to buy a home, or you want to learn how to work from home, and you know, attend my live workshop now. 9 times out of 10, it's not a live workshop. It's an evergreen workshop, and they've just collected your information, and you know, you can have somebody that logs in to monitor the chat and answer questions on the chat, or you can just have it set up where the person submits a question and you get the email and you can just answer it on the go. So it's so many things that you can do with that. Right. So, and
Ursula, these evergreen webinars you're talking about, this is what is all over Facebook.
Oh yes. Yep. And it's really good, because once you set something up that's really good and, you know, really professional, you can have it running for you for the next 2-3 years until you're ready to update the information, you know. But you get so many new prospects. That's what we call them, you know, lead generation prospects that, you know, funnel in. And so it's part of your marketing funnel, but the evergreen webinar, that's really where the gold is. If you want to get, you know, keep people.
I have, it's not, I guess it's a question and a statement, but you have opened up a couple of doors in my head. And
oh my gosh, no kidding.
In the world. But I did want to go over and at least pitch or share with you how Zoom or your Google Meets can help you, like when you're drafting your bylaws, because someone can share the screen from their drive. Is that correct? And then let's say looking at bylaws, we have a bylaw committee. We share the screen and we go through the bylaws one at a time, and everyone discusses those points. And as you're making those changes on the screen in Drive, it's real time and everybody sees it. And if that file is shared, everybody has it. So how many times do we have the bylaws? We send it out, and people will send you the suggestions. Someone's making those changes, or we're doing it on Drive. But here you can do it live by using that Drive and share and actually editing that document in real time. So that is helpful for our club's administrations. Correct? And I'm loving the space bar.
Are there any other questions or suggestions for additional workshops?
Is that only in Google Drive, or is that in all of these? What Simi is talking about, where you could make live real-time changes?
I think you were referencing Google Drive, right, Simi? Yeah, so you would have to use Google Drive or Microsoft Teams or something like that that has the real-time editing capabilities.
Okay. And
yeah, but if you open up Google Drive, you can do what she's saying is you can be on Zoom and you can do a screen share and open up the document in Google Drive and, you know, work on it there, and everybody else can open up the Google document, you know, while they're on the Zoom with you and work on it in real time. Does that make sense?
Well, when you say Google Drive, I understand. Is that part of Google Meet, or are you talking about in Zoom and Microsoft Teams? In other words, how could you do what she's talking about in any of these platforms, or is it limited to ones that offer that feature? I guess.
So Yeah, so what we're talking about is actually using the Google Suite or the Google app. So that's one of the apps that's in your Google Suite. You can use forms and Excel spreadsheets and different things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not talking about the platform. You're talking about once you're in one of these conferencing programs or platforms, then
Yes.
you can then use your Google Suite apps.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, you can do a screen share so people can see you updating it in real time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Sounds like a good webinar to me.
All right.
Ursula, we're going to keep you busy.
Okay. Fine.
So
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Could we possibly do a webinar on how to create a professional evergreen video or
Sure.
or
Oh,
whatever?
yeah. Good
Yeah.
idea.
I like that. Yep.
A good presentation of something like that could really open up a lot of possibilities, because I know currently with our club, with all of this COVID has made it difficult to do the new member orientation.
Okay.
And we had a lot of new members, about 15 this year, that have not been able to kind of learn the history of the club or what they do. But something like this would make that accessible from now and moving on into the future. And I can see where that could save a lot of headache and a lot of time for a lot of people and really get folks feeling engaged and not afraid. Because I know with new members, because I was a member long ago before we had technology, and then left to work for many years and then came back. And it's very different. And when you're a new member, you don't know anyone and you don't know what to do. And you're so afraid of doing the wrong thing that you just do nothing. And that's not beneficial for them or the community. And it makes people feel more like they belong. And a good webinar about something like that could really bring them in.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. And you could include pictures of things that you've done that really engage people, that make, in other words, that, oh, wow, you did this project at a veterans place, or you did a special project in cleaning up a park or something. I know we did painted picnic tables for outside seating. That was a big attraction. So, I mean, you could insert things like that that would really motivate people or create interest is what I'm saying. Wow, this is something, not just here, we're a club, we do great things, but you've got visual things that really impact, that really touch people and say, oh boy, I'm going to pay attention to this.
Well, I mean, I agree with you, Renee, is if you had a great package like that, you could go ahead and post that on Facebook that, you know, if you want to learn more about Lafayette Women's Club,
Exactly.
on Friday, you know, share this with your friends. If anyone is
Exactly.
And then what they'll do is they will, and then when they click that link, they put in their name and email address, and you've got it. Now you have that lead generation where you can follow up with them and said, I see that you logged into my meeting, you know, our orientation. Do you have any additional questions? How can we help? That's awesome.
I think that is top of the list.
I have it on there. So here's my contact information. Of course, it's already in the, you know, Northwest District, what do you call it, directory, but here it is again. So if you want to follow up with me and say, you know, I think this would be another great topic for a workshop, let me know. I know the next thing we have coming up is constant contact. We're also going to dive into social media, and I'm going to do that with Ashley because she's a social media guru as well. But we're open. We're here to help you. If there's anything you want to learn, again, let me know. I can put it together, you know, get my resources and everything to help you. So that's not a problem at all. I'm going to stop sharing. Does everybody have any?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Stop sharing. There we go.
I have a question.
Yes.
Could we do something at the state level like you're talking about, to put something out there with the history of the state and what we're all about and everything like that, and have it as a share thing or whatever it is you're talking about?
That automated thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We can.
Okay. All right. I'm interested in doing that as membership chairman, but I don't know anything about it. So I'm going to need a lot of help in pulling this together. Okay.
No problem.
I think we need something like that out there for our state.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much software out there now. Anybody really can just make a nice video and PowerPoint. I mean, everything's just about free now, nowadays. So putting it together is not an issue. Even if you don't want to use the software to create the Evergreen webinar, you still can create a YouTube video and put it on your website. You would just have to put it on a specific web page and have them leave their information to gain access to it. So there's still ways of, protecting that video so you can get the information that you need from the people that are watching it. Especially if you have courses that you want members to attend, and that's a way of making sure that they actually watch the video. They have to register before they view the video. So, it's different things like that that you can do.
Right, and could you even put on there like the different districts and the clubs in the districts and where they're located, so that if they're interested in a particular district or a particular club, we could route it to that particular club and all.
Yeah, you're just basically just adding a particular link that's going to redirect them somewhere else, and you can definitely do that. That's easy.
Okay. So many things to do, and I don't know where to start.
Ursula and Simi, this question is for both of you. I was just thinking for our general meetings, or maybe even for our board meetings, is there like a little, and it may not be the automated thing, it could be just a video, a promotion video for about 2 minutes to promote the technology that we're talking about now, that would kind of just provide another, I mean, you guys have such great presentation skills. I mean, we can say this in a meeting, but it doesn't have the same impact. If you could do like a promotion, like a minute video that we could share, like Susan could share her screen, or however, as second VP of, the district, I could present it and say, I want to tell you, we had this wonderful webinar, and it's for anyone in the Northwest District. I want to encourage you for the upcoming, and also open the door to just pull away those layers, because we know that people are hesitant for technology. But in a conversational way, maybe Simi, you could interview, or not interview, but I'm saying just a really quick, back and forth to promote what we're doing. I think it's just amazing. And I'm probably not explaining exactly, I'm thinking outside the box right now, but I think that would be, you guys are so powerful, and Ursula, you're just amazing in your presentation and your knowledge, and it's very clear that I mean, you have this resource, and I'm telling you, you could just launch this club into the ozone with your knowledge. And not only that, word travels, like if we get guests, and they would see this, they're like, whoa, this club rocks. That's what we're looking to for the future. And I think anything that we can do, if we're using these tools because of COVID, then, COVID's not going to disappear in a day or two. It's not going to disappear January 1st. So we need to, kind of plan for the future. It's not going to magically go away. So I'm just